Hello YouTube, it's me, Darth Cobain 17, and I'm back. And it's mid-September. The nights are cold. School's back in for the kids. Our pool's about to close next week, and it's just one of those weird times a year that are kind of exciting for some reasons, but also kind of depressing for others. But the bright side is that with the cooler weather and stuff like that, I'll be playing, reading, and watching a lot more stuff. So that's good. But anyways, today what I'm going to talk about is a few more things. First thing I got up to recently is I finished watching this. It's a reboot of the Thundercats cartoon. Thundercats were a cartoon from the 1980s that I watched. I didn't watch it a ton as a kid. I enjoyed it, but I was so into G.I. Joe, Transformers, Mask, the Ninja Turtles. They were a bit after that, but there were so many cartoons back then, so many good cartoons, that the Thundercats, like Voltron, Wheeled Warriors, tons of stuff, that I kind of watched it only when other stuff wasn't on. So, and I liked it, but I just didn't like it as much as the other things. So, but I did want to watch it again, but when I priced out DVD sets for the original Thundercats show, it was like season 1, volume 1, $50. Like, it was so crazy expensive. So then in my research of looking for these old DVDs, I discovered that they had kind of rebooted the series back in 2011, I think it was, and that's what this series is. So it's kind of a reimagining of it, kind of update, and I think it was like 26 episodes or something like that. But anyways, the story of the Thundercats is that there's these walking cats, lions, who live in this grand city called Thundera, and it's a mighty kingdom. But they do have enemies. The Lizard Army is their sworn enemies, and want nothing but to bring about the fall of their kingdom. And then but their main enemy is this kind of weird sorcerer named Mumra. And he's been biding his time, but now he's back, and he has aligned with the Lizard Army. And one day they finally mount an attack on Thundera and turn it into rubble, basically. The king of the Thundercats, Claudius, he's killed, and his son Lion-O, who is next to inherit the throne and the mighty sword and all that, it kind of has to take over. But there's so little left of Thundera and its people that they're forced to flee. So what he's looking for, he goes in search of the Book of Omens, which is a fabled tomb that supposedly holds the key to defeating Mumra. So along with him is his brother Tigra, a girl they grew up with named Chitara, and then a couple of cubs named Wily Kit and Wily Cat, and also a great warrior named Panthro. And so as they kind of look for the Book of Omens, they encounter different species out in the kingdom beyond Thundera. And a lot of them are good and help them, but then of course they run into trouble in a lot of cases, and beings that aren't so friendly. But eventually they do find the Book of Omens, and another good ally. And in the end, and along the way, Lion-O has to, he's young and he's impetuous, and he wants to prove himself, but he doesn't have the wisdom yet. So along this journey, Lion-O kind of, discovers himself in what it truly means to be a leader and to unite people. And so in the end, he has to, if he wants to have success, he needs to find the Book of Omens and unite all the species of the kingdom in this fight against Mumra. And if he can do that, they might have a chance to defeat him and succeed and rebuild Thundera. And if not, Mumra will destroy everything and take over, and that is the end of that. So, so that was what the series is about. Really cool animation, and lots of humor, lots of action. Really good series, and especially since it's pretty cheap and it's Blu-ray, it was a pretty good deal, and I'm glad I picked it up. The next thing I did was Marvel is just coming out with all these books now, so it's great. It's like between Star Wars and Marvel, I just can't, and all the other stuff I like to read, I just can't keep up. The next one, which was a surprise when I went to Indigo the other day, was a Deadpool book called Paws. So as this story opens up, we catch up with Deadpool when he's in the middle of a mission, and his mission is to collect puppies and destroy them. Yes, it is Deadpool we're talking about, right? So, but anyways, he's working for Shield under the supervision of an agent named Emily Preston, and he is indeed looking for puppies. Now, the problem with the puppies is that some evil mastermind has created these genetically engineered these monsters, and their larval stage is cute, adorable puppies. So, but Deadpool, although he's a filthy mouthed mercenary who loves killing, he doesn't kill people or beings who don't deserve it. So he can't kill the puppies until he knows for sure that they're going to turn into a monster. So basically, he's tracking down the puppies and handing them over to Shield until they make the transformation, and then dealing with them. Shield has given him this substance, this goop that will instantly liquefy the monsters once they transform, because they turn into these hulking beasts that regenerate like Deadpool does and just can't, they're very hard to defeat. Now, when he's out on the case, some of them right away transform, and he's forced to fight them in the streets, and there's all this collateral damage, so he gets fired by Shield, and then he gets rehired by Shield because they figure he's the one still best suited to the job compared to anybody else they have. And then so along the way, he recovers a lot of the puppies, and he gets approached by this girl named Jane, who says that her partner Dick, Jane and Dick, is the one responsible for the monsters. But before he can get too much more information, she takes off, and then eventually Deadpool ends up in this secret underground lab beneath the streets of New York City, and he gets Blind Al in to kind of look after the puppies, look after them. And when one of them transforms and they defeat it, Blind Al accidentally picks up one of the bones and finds something engraved on the bone, which when they put it under a microscope ends up being a website, which points them towards this Dick fellow. So eventually Deadpool tracks him down, can't defeat him. They have a massive battle, and then in the end, all the action culminates in a battle between Dick, Jane, Deadpool, the monsters. Shield shows up in this underground lab when pretty much all of the monsters show their true colors, and it's just one battle royale sort of thing. So it was a really neat book in the fact that mixed in amongst all the action and events, Deadpool had all of these kind of flashbacks, and you didn't know what was real, what was not. It was a really good glimpse into his character and what makes him so crazy. They write about the fact that he takes so much punishment all the time, and people don't really pay any attention to it because, well, he just regenerates, right? But not thinking that each time he gets in a battle, he feels the pain, and then when he regenerates, it's also a painful process, right? So it's no wonder the guy's friggin' batshit crazy, because he's constantly in pain, and he basically can't die. It would take something super devastating to kill him, right? So he's just living forever, and a lot of that time he's in pain, right? So you kind of see and get a feel for why he's kind of off the deep end, kind of crazy, and why he acts the way he does. So it was a really cool fleshing out thing for his character. And then the last thing was, good God, I've been playing this game for months and months and months. Mass Effect 3 Special Edition for the Wii U. I picked it up for cheap a few years back maybe, and I was not familiar with the Mass Effect franchise at all. This was the first game I've played. Basically, the solar system has been colonized. The planets are explorable, and people are living on them. And the galaxy gets invaded by this nasty species called the Reapers, and they just want to lay waste to everybody. So the main character is this guy, Commander Shepard, who has had a shady past and worked for Cerberus, this kind of terrorist organization in the past. Don't really know much about it because I didn't play their games before it. But basically, you're trying to finally end this Reaper threat against Earth. And at the same time, Cerberus is getting involved. Other species from different planets and their squabbles with other planets are, you're trying to get everybody to come on board because you need so many people to fight them. And you're also trying to complete this device called the Prothean device, which is a super weapon, which they believe it will be capable of destroying the Reapers. But it was built by an ancient species who are no longer around. So trying to complete it is, of course, very difficult. So so you've got all these factors going on, and you can kind of pick and choose your missions as they become available. It's not a straight line kind of game. And yeah, it's awesome. It was an awesome game. I didn't beat it. I got very close to the end, but there's this one level where you kind of get in a fight with this assassin from the main guy of Cerberus, who's kind of who used to know Shepard and abuse him. Kai Lang is the assassin, and there's just this one boss fight that no matter how hard I tried, he just beats the Christ out of me every time. And I just tried and tried and tried, and I'm not much of a quitter, but you know, sometimes you just know when you're licked. And this was one of those games. There's a handful of games over the years that have done that to me. I've got right up near the end and I just couldn't finish it. And it kind of pisses you off, right? Because you put all that time into it, and eventually just can't beat it. But it was an amazing game. Looks great, plays great, so much detail and setting up your team and equipping weapons and modifying weapons and upgrading your armor. There's so much to it. And I probably didn't even know a quarter of what I was doing. Like, it was all just kind of, well, I guess this is good, right? Like, maybe if I'd figured out how to use weapons better and armor, maybe the Kai Lang fight would have been more manageable for me. But it is what it is. But very good game. Difficult. But if you like that sort of thing, it might be right up your alley. So, yeah. So that's all for now. But I will be back, I'm sure, in a few days once I get a bit more stuff done. And we will see you then. Bye-bye.